Today we'll be talking about the coronavirus vaccine. So at the time I'm recording this, officially there has been 114 million COVID vaccines administered in the United States. But the thing is, all vaccines aren't the same. There are different types. There are the AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Moderna. Those are the ones that are most readily available to the residents of the United States. And these vaccines have different purposes. For example, the one that you may be most familiar with is stopping the vaccine from getting into your body, which is measured by the efficacy rate of the vaccine. And then there's also the other task of stopping the virus from spreading if it does get into your body. And one of the final jobs of this vaccine is to stop the severity of the virus, so stop hospitalizations and deaths. So the thing is, all of those elements are almost equally important, yet some people have been holding the efficacy rate above all else. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been at the heart of this discussion, as in its clinical study it had an efficacy rate of roughly 60%, while Moderna and Pfizer, the other two most readily available vaccines in the US, have an efficacy rate close to 95%. As a result, some people view the Johnson & Johnson vaccine as less than Moderna or Pfizer. Same thing with AstraZeneca, as it also has less efficacy rate than the other two vaccines. The thing is, these trials that determine the efficacy rate of the vaccine were done in very different ways for the different vaccines. For example, the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine trials were done almost entirely in the United States, which means the participants of the 40,000 person trial were all United States citizens, and this was conducted during the summer months, which, if you remember, it was the lower point for the vaccine, while the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was tested in South Africa and other parts, mainly not in the United States, where, first of all, they had to deal with variants of the COVID vaccine, which are more deadly and spread easier. Plus, this was done in the winter months, where, if you remember, the vaccine was much more prevalent and spreading more. So, the thing is, you can't compare these vaccines just by that scale, because the only way to truly compare the vaccines would be put onto the same clinical trial. Comparing the clinical trials themselves that determine the efficacy rates don't really make sense. And now, this is where we move on to the second point. What really is the most important measure of a vaccine? As I said before, the vaccine has 3 different jobs, and one of them was the efficacy rate. The second one that I think is actually more important is how well the vaccine stops the severity of the virus. As you know, the COVID vaccine is extremely deadly, much more deadly than the seasonal flu, as it puts many people into the hospital and kills them, which is unfortunate. So the vaccine, its main goal is to stop those two things from happening. Stop people from going to the hospital and to stop them from dying. This is what is really important. When people try and compare Johnson & Johnson and Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and they don't want to get a vaccine, this is what they're missing out on. Through all the clinical trials, one thing remained the same for all the vaccines. No person in any of the clinical trials, the hundreds of thousands of people who got the vaccine, was sent to the hospital or died. This means that the vaccine greatly reduces the severity of the virus. This means that if you get the virus even after vaccinated, you will not receive the harsh consequences of the virus that people have been facing for the past year and a half. This is why it really doesn't matter which vaccine you get as long as you get vaccinated. Because vaccination is important. Because some people can't get the vaccine because they're immunocompromised or for other such medical reasons, that we need herd immunity. Herd immunity means that so many people are vaccinated or immune to the virus that they can't spread it to others. We still don't know what the herd immunity threshold for COVID is. That's why it is very important that we should not compare the different types of COVID vaccines, and we should just get them. Thank you. This is Arya Mukherjee reporting for Scott Center News.